Hey y'all, it's your girl Nika Chanel, and I want to try this. Hey y'all, this your girl Nika Chanel, and I want to try this reacting thing. So I found this real interesting story from Keisha Cole's little brother, and let me get him put up. And all right, let's get into it.
I'm going to tell you a story, and I think this story is very important because there's a discourse on TikTok of us talking about adoptions, close adoptions, and if the parents should contact the children, if it's right or if it's wrong, baby. I'm adopted, okay? I am from a close adoption. It gets crazy. Now I'm gonna be using real names. Yeah. So I was born in Oakland, California. I was raised until 9 years old in Oakland, California. All right. Now my mother, she was a daycare provider, but she also did emergency services, specifically when it came to housing children. Now the reason that's important is because that is how my mother ended up getting me. Now when my mother got me from emergency services, she said that when she seen me, she did not want to let me out of her sight. She knew that I was her child. Now she said it took her about 6 months to complete the paperwork and everything to pass in her background for her to actually have me as her child. And when I became my mother's child, I wasn't even 1 year old yet. Growing up, the earliest memories I can remember were between 5 and 6 years old, me going to kindergarten, me coming home. I knew my mom had a daycare, and I knew the daycare would get out once the sun go down and all the kids would go home. And then I had my own room upstairs. My mom owned a big house. She also ran the daycare in her home. It had a big house. It was a 6 bedroom home. There were 4 bedrooms upstairs, and there were 2 bedrooms downstairs in the basement. She had 2 living rooms. One was separated by a big glass divider. It was a sliding door, and one side was where the adults would be, and the other side is where the living room or the kids' room was, which we called the kids' room, playroom, that she would do her daycare out of. Now, I had a normal life. I did not have a different life from anybody else. I was not treated as if I was an adopted child. I wasn't treated as if I was separate from the family. I was treated as if my mother was my actual real birth mother. That's important because growing up, I did.
That is important, but I think that's a good thing that mom treated him as her own. I wouldn't want to be treated any other way. And I've seen it happen in families where they are blood relatives. Anywho,
Did not know that I was adopted. Now, when you're in the system, you get supervised visits from the state. Now, when these visits happen, they would visit me and my mother. They would talk to both of us, and they would talk to me separately. They would ask me questions like, hey, is everything going on right? Do you love your mother? Is everything in the house perfect? Like, is there any complaints or anything you want to tell us? And me thinking like this is just somebody that's visiting us as a child, I'm like, yeah, everything's great. Everything's fine. Because it is. My mother put this into our life program so well that I just assumed that every child was doing this. Now, between 9 and 10, my mother did not want to live in Oakland, California anymore. She wanted to move to Fairfield, California to be closer to her mother that lived in Fairfield. We ended up moving to Fairfield, California. My mom had a 3 bedroom house. It was wonderful, and she restarted her daycare services from there. Now, I was an overachiever in school, academically all A's. I never had an issue with that. I was always bullied though for being an academic child. It was so crazy to me because growing up, it was like I had to defend myself from so many different situations. I got bullied for it. And that was one of the main reasons why my mom wanted to move out of Oakland, California to Fairfield, California. Now,
y'all, this guy has got some wind on him. He has not taken a breath, and his words are just flowing so elegantly. Let's keep going.
now, the school that I ended up going to was B. Gale Wilson in Fairfield, California. If you know, you know. Back then, you could literally count on one hand how many black students attended that middle school. I had to get used to being around so many fucking white people. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I grew up in a town like that. Nothing, it was some of us, let's say it was about 10% of us. That's not a lot. That's tax. That's not a lot.
And it wasn't in a racist way, like, oh my God, they're white. It was more of just like a culture shock because I speak a different way, I talk a different way, and I was smarter than most of them kids in that school. So not only do they think I'm ghetto, they think I'm ratchet, but now I'm smarter than every single last one of them. Oh, they couldn't stand me. So that caused me to get in a lot of trouble because I stopped backing down. I got tired of being bullied and I started fighting. Now, it was one day that I ended up getting into a big ass fight. I got in trouble. I got suspended. They sent me home. My mama was like, baby, you going on punishment. And she was like, well, your punishment is you need to go into this room. My mom had a side room, which was supposed to be her office. She was like, you're going to go and you're going to organize the boxes in this room. I decided to go into the room because I want to listen to my mom because I ain't not trying to get in trouble, baby. I'm trying to get my TV because I like to watch TV, okay? And she took my TV. So I go and I organize the boxes, and me being nosy, I decided, hey, I want to go through the box and see what's in here, baby, because I'm nosy. It just so happened that one of the boxes that I looked through had my birth certificate in it. And if anybody knows, y'all know my mother's name is Asa. Both of our birth certificates were together. So I seen her birth certificate first, and I'm flipping through, and I found my birth certificate. And I pulled it. I was like, oh, hey, girl, how you doing? I ain't seen you in so long. Mind you, I've never actually seen my birth certificate, so there's that. As I'm looking at my birth certificate, I see that there's no name on here that says Asa. It actually says Frankie. So I'm like, is my mom's name Frankie? Is she lying to me about her name? But I'm like, that can't be right because her birth certificate is right here. So either my mom got her name changed or she's lying to me about being my mother. Me being a kid at this time, I didn't even realize like this was an actual big thing for me or was going to be a big thing for me. So I was very quiet when it came to my mom about situations that I was going through, especially like me being gay, me getting bullied at school. I would never even tell her the fights that I got into unless the school called her and told her I was suspended. There were several times I got into physical altercations and beat somebody up and I just didn't tell her. This specific situation, I just didn't tell her. I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna tell her. And plus the timing of it, baby, I was already in trouble and I shouldn't have went through her paperwork in the first place, baby. I knew I was gonna be in trouble. During the next year, I started to realize.
But that's what happened. When you go looking for something, you would definitely find it.
I was nothing like my adoptive family. And it's nothing wrong with that. I'm loud. I'm opinionated. I like to think about things and say things in a way that makes you think about what you've done or what you've said. And my family is very much put together. They're like proper, pristine. We're going to go here, then we're going to do this, and we're going to be bougie about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But baby, I come in the door, hey, yo, I was scared. What we doing? Ching-a-ling-a-ling. What's going on? It's very fucking off-putting. And it's like, why am I the only one acting like this? Why am I the only one being like this? Why am I the only one? A lot of my family members would make comments, especially like cousins and stuff, about my skin complexion because they would be like, oh yeah, he's just light bright. He's not as dark as us. Baby, I'm brown, first of all. Like, huh? Nevertheless, the older I got, the more I started to see, y'all, why don't I act like y'all? And also, where is my daddy? My whole entire life, my mother was a single mother. So for me, I never asked her who my father was because I just respected my mother enough to know that she held the fort down and I ain't.
Well, that was pretty common in a lot of Black communities, neighborhoods. A lot of us grew up, I said us, with only a mother or grandmothers and aunts helping to raise us. So that was kind of the norm when I was growing up.
Ask no questions. Also, on my birth certificate, which I forgot to say, I am a junior. So it said my father's name was my name. So I was like, okay, like that's not helpful. So if anybody says, oh yeah, you had access to the internet, you could have looked it up. I didn't have a computer, haha, or a phone. Okay, so every Friday, my mother loved to watch VH1. Specifically, she loved to watch I Love New York. She loved to watch Making the Band. And she loved to watch the BET Network as well. And there were a lot of shows on there that I loved as well. Of course, she would not let me watch it because she said it's ghetto and it's going to make your brain cells fry and you're not going to be an adult that's going to have motherfucking brain cells to use. All right, whatever. Now, sometimes my mom would let me watch these shows with her, but this specific Friday, when I got home, she told me to go upstairs. She took my TV and she told me to go to sleep and that she will see me in the morning. My food is in the microwave. Grab it, eat, and go to bed. Baby, I'm looking around like, God damn, what did I do now? So I go to bed because I don't have no questions to ask because that's my mama. And I wake up the next day and everything is fine. The weekend goes by normally. Everything is good. I'm chilling. Monday comes around. The house that I lived in, I would walk to school because it was right down the street. And my mom would not want to take me to school because I would wake up late all the time. That was my fault. Now, this day I woke up extra late and I was extra late to school, right? Well, I had this friend. Her name is Alexis and it is very important to this story. Alexis's mom would let her watch any kind of TV she motherfucking wanted to. Also, Alexis was into like, pop culture, R&B, watching and, doing the do. Anybody that knows. And her used to walk to school, but because I was so damn late, we didn't meet up today. Because I was late to school, I had to go through the front office. As I'm walking into the front office, the principal is in the front and he's like, oh, you gotta come here. And I'm like, what the fuck I gotta come here for? What did I do now? Like, did he catch on to one of my fights and I ain't tell him about? Oh well,
Y'all, I just love his storytelling. Like, I could listen to him all day, even though he's talking fast. I like for people to talk and get it out versus um saying and every second. But he is such a character. I'm just loving this storytelling.
guess I'll be suspended again. So we walked to his office, and mind you, I really don't like this principal because he just offsetting. It's Mr. Tiggerino, and I'm like, Mr. Tiggerino, what do you want today? Like, we need to have a conversation because you're going to be causing the school disruptance, and I don't need any problems here. And I'm like, okay, I haven't done anything. And he was like, yes, you did, and it's not on your part, but we need to figure out some things before you go onto the campus. And I'm like, okay, well, if I didn't do anything, what's the problem? He's like, okay, hold on. Number one, he was like, you're famous. And I'm like, I'm what? Mind you, I'm like, what are you talking about? Me and him don't get along, so I'm thinking he's just playing. And I'm like, we not even cool like that for you to be playing with me. What do you mean I'm famous? And he was like, you're famous. The whole school is talking about you. And the fact that your mom didn't tell us anything, we're going to have to get some background information before we let you get back on campus. And I'm like,
So why in the world would they tell him that? Why? Why would they tell him that? His parents should have been the one to reveal that to him. But that's just me. Other people may think differently. I definitely think they should have told him before he found it out somewhere else.
what are you talking about? Mind you, I don't like this man. So I'm starting to get irritated because I don't know what you're talking about. And I feel like you're playing with me. And I don't like to get played with. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're going through right now. But at the end of the day, we don't really like each other. And I don't like games. And he's like, well, it's going to be a situation because a lot of kids are talking about it. And I've already called your mother. And she's on her way down here. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Like, you're not in trouble, but again, your family is famous. All of these kids are saying that your sister is famous and it's going to be a problem because it's going to cause a disruption for the school. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? My sister is famous. I have one sister and she is from Berkeley, California. I seen her last weekend. She's not famous. And he's like, your sister's not famous? I'm like, no, my sister is not famous. He's like, wait, so you don't know who your family is? I'm like, what are you talking about?
So, guys, I'm gonna have to come back with the next part in about an hour or so. But his storytelling is awesome. I can't tell stories like that, but I could sit and listen to him all day. To me, he's so dramatic. Even though it's personal, he is still telling this story like he would want a crowd around and everybody just standing around clapping because he's telling this story. All right, guys. Let me know what you think about the video in the comments and like, share, and subscribe.